Hi there. This video is about how our body uh, becomes tight. There are many reasons why tightness can manifest in our body. Tightness can come from, I don't know, sometimes you have a pimple, or maybe some kind of infection on the skin, hair follicle is infected, and it gets inflamed. So blood rushes there, not rushes there, it accumulates there, it gathers there, it doesn't want to leave the place, inflammation is there. So it's like a hard lump, it gets hardened. And it stays like that until your immune system, the white blood corpuscles kill enough of the invading bacteria, and then you get pus is formed, blood. Blood does its job, and eventually the pus is released or it gets dissipated internally, and then you have the supple skin again. It's soft again. Okay, now we're not talking about skin this time, we're talking about the whole body. Why sometimes we become tight. Okay, there are many reasons, of course, but one of the main reasons, one main reason why the body gets tight is because we have to compensate for any misalignment, so that the things that are off balance will not throw us off and cause us to fall apart when we try to move vigorously, or when we try to even balance. When we try to balance and there's something in us that is causing some kind of misalignment, that is causing us to have more difficulty in reaching a state of balance, like standing on one leg or whatever. The body tightens up. The body tightens up so that it compensates. It tries to hold things together so that we don't fall apart. How does it work? Okay, let's take this stapler and you put it on the edge of the pile of books. You put the stapler on the edge of the pile of books. As long as there's balance, you don't have to hold it. No, I mean it's not going to fall off by itself. Now we push the stapler further and further away from the edge, where this is the edge of the pile of books, and it comes to a point where if I let go, it falls by itself. See, it doesn't fall. So there's a point when it tips, it goes beyond a tipping point, and then it just falls by itself if you don't hold it. Okay, let's say I continue to hold it. At the beginning, I don't need to use a lot of force. A bit of force in this cantilever, or this bit that is jutting out from the edge. It is pulling the stapler down, but over here I'm holding it down. So I need a bit of force, not much, at the beginning. Now if I continue to push this stapler further and further away, further and further out of alignment, out of balance, now it becomes harder to hold it there. I can feel a stronger force pushing on me, so I have to press down tighter. And as you push it further and further and further, it gets more and more and more tight. See, so it works like this. The more out of alignment you are, or we are, the tighter our body has to pull at the core to compensate for the misalignment, so that we don't fall apart, so that we just manage to still walk, or manage to still do the things we do in our daily life. And so it's so important that we see this, or why it is making us tight. Now, what are the things that causes this kind of misalignment? What the stapler jutting out from the pile of books, moving away from the edge, hunching. When we have poor posture, we create that kind of cantilever. When we are like that. Let's say this is the back, yeah, and then this is your head over here. If you are hunched like this, the whole this whole part of the body has to make sure that you don't fall down. You don't fall down. So this has to tighten up like this, maybe, and then find a point of balance so that you can still walk. But it's going to be slow. It's going to be a bit not so agile, not so athletic, but you can still move. But you have to be tight. You are not tight, you will fall apart. You will just you will topple just like the stapler. So the mechanism of tightening the ligaments, the tendons, and all that is to compensate for misalignment. So the most common misalignment is hunching. Another one is maybe on one side of your body it's too short, bones of different lengths, I don't know, or just spondylosis. No, scoliosis. Scoliosis is the curvature of the spine in this direction. So you are like, so you're also existing with an offset where weight is biased on one side. Yeah? So it's in a state of imbalance. Again, that has to be compensated for. You need tightness to hold things more or less together. And other aspects of misalignment could come from maybe being overweight. If you have a huge pot belly, drink too much beer, or you eat too much, or you just can't help it. I mean, the muscles or the fascia that supposed to hold your belly inside all the your inner organs and your intestines, and they have already become loose because of, I don't know, sometimes overstretching it, and then and they atrophy, those muscles that are supposed to hold things together. So everything spills out and it becomes like a big pot belly. That is also a cantilever. That is also a source of misalignment that will force your body to compensate by tightening up. So this tightening up is how is it done? You tighten up. Usually it tightens up in a very nice, very interesting way. Push the pile of books aside, and I'll bring this exhibit. It's just an empty mineral water bottle, plastic one, with a cap on top, with a screw. There's a threads here where you can tighten and seal the bottle so that the water doesn't leak out. And then imagine this is our head, the skull, heavy, and then it's sitting on the atlas C1, the first vertebra of the spine going down. Okay, so around here you have two main tendons of the body, pulls everything down like that. So how much is going to pull? How much atlas? Long ago when I was young, I read about, I think it was Greek mythology. You have this Atlas, giant Atlas. He was holding up the world. He was like holding up the world. And there was another guy. Saying, why? He has this job. He has to hold up the world. Very hard to get out of it. So they trick somebody to take over the burden. But anyway, I don't know whether it's Greek mythology, but it's some kind of story like that. So here we have the Atlas, and it's holding up the skull, and the tendons are pulling down. Okay, now we create misalignment. Let's say this is our torso, the body, and I use rubber bands and I stuck a full bottle of or container of glue, over here. This is heavy. So this is our misalignment. Maybe this is our pot belly, pot belly. And when this is loose, see what happens? When this is loose, it can rock. can rock. So if we are going to walk without rocking, and literally roll like this, it's it's not desirable. So we don't want to walk like that. It makes us look very funny. So we try to walk in a certain manner where it looks okay. And to do that, you can't have this being loose. If this is loose, it just wobbles. It wobbles. So what we do is these two tendons are tightened. They pull down, and the top part, the fascia, everything is tightened. So we tighten it, and after you tighten it, okay, rigid. It's not going to wobble anymore. Even though it's misalignment, it will just go like this. You get the hunch in the spine, but everything now is tight. And from the top, if it's tight, it just pulls everything. You screw it, it pulls everything. The whole core becomes 1 degree more, 1 degree tighter. You have tightened it. Let's say you're on the racks, and being tortured. You just rotated this thing one more revolution, So you just go up one more rung, and on the ladder, you climb up one more rung on the ladder, and you get tighter, And it goes along like this. The more offset, the more misaligned you get, the more offset, the more the heavier the offset, the tighter this has to be. It gets tighter and tighter and tighter until it destroys your spine. You get into what do you call it? Degeneration of the bones, of the joints. The joints go first because they are soft cartilage. They go first. So and then you might have even ligaments that are pulling tight against bones, so tight that creates again more compensation by the spine. It starts to calcify, create bone spurs, to somehow stay together. And all these things cause problems because internally, if you want to be free, you want to be relaxed, and you want to be able to move easily, the ligaments have to glide nicely over the bones. If you have a bone spur, some calcification, some hard protrusion coming out from the bones because the ligaments were so tight, pressing down on those bones, and then they were giving way, and then they compensate, you grow something there. Then you are in trouble because then the next time you want to glide nicely over, it doesn't do it anymore, and then you are really in trouble. And sometimes it glides into some other place, where it shouldn't be. Like you get a frozen shoulder, or you doing freestyle or doing butterfly, and then it's painful, something is not right. Like you feel like a nerve is pinching inside. Sometimes it's a bone spur, sometimes it is imbalance in the strength of the muscle. Sometimes you are not strong enough to move something down like that, and then everything is gathering over here, and then it goes in between, somewhere ligament goes in, and then it presses, causes inflammation, pain, everything. So we have to be very careful to make sure that our body is aligned, balanced, good posture, and there's less chance that we are going to become tight. And when you are not tight, it's a good thing because you stay healthy. Okay, that's it for this video. Thanks for listening. Ciao.